This is Dub Revolution. This is Dub music to rock the nation.
My brothers and sisters, let us all away together. Away, sayonara, away, away, country, your love. For we want to go to the land where the milk and honey flow. For the wise man knock at your door. Sayonara, away, sayonara, away. Hi, 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 hi. Who is higher than I? Hi, 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 hi. Who is higher than I? Mount Zion, Mount Zion, oh yeah, Jah Rastafari.
Welcome people to the 38th and last chapter of the Coronapocalypse Sessions with your root selector, Professor Juicy.
Away, sayonara, away, away, country, your love. For we want to go to the land where the milk and honey flow. For the wise man knock at your door. Sayonara, away, sayonara, away. Hi, hi, hi.
Beautiful Rasta anthem and ode to Selassie from Burning Spear, getting us going today. This is from his 1978 album Marcus Children. It's called Nyayaki. What a brilliant ode to Selassie. Okay, in our last chapter we're going to have a little bit of a focus on Derrick Morgan. So let's go over there now. Next up is a track called I'm Leaving Dub. It's a dub version by King Tubby of a track by Derrick Morgan and Hortense Ellis called I'm Leaving. This is from 1975.
But I love you so.
This dub version was put out on King Tubby's classic dub album Shalom Dub in 1975. It's appropriate to have Derrick Morgan as our focus for this last session, given that Derrick Morgan's career spanned all the way from the late 50s right through to the 70s and 80s, and even now sometimes he still performs. He was originally discovered at a talent show in 1957 and worked with Duke Reid, Coxsone Dodd, Leslie Kong, becoming a great rival to Prince Buster. Later on in the 70s, a lot of his tracks like this one were reworked by the dub masters like King Tubby and Bunny Lee. Great stuff.
Oh, but I love you so.
Lovely King Tubby dubplate that. Okay, let's go to 62 and one of Derrick Morgan's most well-known tracks, Forward March, put out to celebrate Jamaica's independence in 1962.
Gather together, be brothers and sisters, we're independent. Join hands to hands, children started to dance, we're independent. Won't be sudden blow. The Lord is still with you, because your time has come when you can have your fun, so make it on. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Sir Alexander. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Mr. Manley. Won't be sudden blow. The Lord is still with you, because your time has come when you can have your fun, so keep it on.
Jamaican music has always engaged with its politics, like music everywhere. Often it's very critical, sometimes it's celebratory. This track, produced by Leslie Kong, really captures the optimism and enthusiasm of that independence moment in Jamaica.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing a song, sing a song, sing a song. We're independent. Yeah, 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 yeah. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Sir Alexander. Brothers and sisters, give joy and praise to Mr. Manley. Won't be sudden blow. The Lord is still with you, because the time has come when you can have your fun, so make it on.
What a joyous track. Okay, let's move over to Cornel Campbell and his 1982 track, It's Grooving Time.
It's grooving time, my love, so let us go to the party. Forget our troubles until tomorrow. Let's not be old at the party, darling. Whenever
This was put out on his 1982 boxing album, which was recorded at Channel 1 Studios, mixed at King Tubby Studios by Prince Jammy, and produced by Bunny Lee. Everybody, all the masters, have their hands in this one.
Hold my hand when you're ready, make we ready. Stop with me, baby. Stop with me, baby. Rock with me, yeah.
And did I mention Sly and Robbie and the Aggravators as musicians on this?
Reggae with me, yeah. Reggae with me, girl. 'Cause reggae gone internationally, yeah. Reggae gone internationally. Rock with me, baby, baby. Rock with me, rock with me. Whoa, baby, baby. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, yeah. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, girl. Reggae with me. I want you to reggae with me right now, baby.
Okay, let's go back to another Derrick Morgan classic now. Next up, it's Blazing Fire, produced by Leslie Kong and put out on Island Records in 1963. And this is a track where Derrick Morgan directly refers to Prince Buster and their rivalries. Great track.
Fire. Bad-minded people and one hand to wash the other. They were all sung by you, and now we act back to. You said it, so what a blazing fire. You said it.
Supporters of the two rival singers, Prince Buster and Derrick Morgan, often used to clash until eventually the government had to step in and they had to stage a photo shoot with the two rivals pretending to be friends in order to calm the situation down.
And your days will be much longer. You said it, so what a blazing fire.
Okay, let's go from the rivalries of the 60s to something really rootsy from the late 70s. This is Hugh Mundell with Day of Judgement.
The day is coming up so soon when there should be the falling of all capitalists. When I and I people shall go on home and vanquish we shall face the great big show where Jah the Almighty He sits alone. He sits alone. So you all better be righteous, hear what I say, going on. Repatriation is a must. Yes, it's a must. On the day of judgment, it sure gonna be dread. What I say, it's gonna be dread.
This beautiful and powerful track comes from Hugh Mundell's classic Africa Must Be Free by 1983 album, which was arranged and produced by Augustus Pablo. If Derrick Morgan had one of the longest careers in reggae music, Hugh Mundell sadly probably had one of the shortest. In 1983, he was shot dead in a gangland shooting in his car. What a great loss that was.
When I and I people so stand so firm and watch Babylon burn to the ground, burn to the ground. Pope or queendom falling down and we caught are wearing a frown, a frown. On the day of judgment, it's sure gonna be dread. What I say, it's gonna be dread. It's dread, and the gully gonna run red. Yeah, yeah. Whoa, so humble yourself, my black brothers, 'cause we know repatriation is a must. Yes, it's a must. So do the things you know are right, and you will look better in Judge's sight. It's dread, it's dread, it's dread.
This album came with a dub album, so I'm going to play the dub plate from this track. It's called Judgement Dub now. Great stuff.
The day,
a great dub from a great track from an awesome album. Alright, let's go back to Derrick Morgan now.
This is my last letter, dear. This is my last letter, baby.
This is a cover version of Benny King's 7 Letters, produced by Bunny Lee, put out in '69 on the Crab Records label.
I'm tired of facing the floor, honey. Show away your favorite. It's been tearing me apart. This is my 7th letter, baby, just to satisfy my heart. One day I wrote and told you I was all alone and blue. Tuesday I wrote again, baby. I said I love no one but you. No, I don't. Wednesday I write you a cable, begging you to call.
This is sometimes cited as the first reggae tune, but what I think is more striking about it is the clear influence of rhythm and blues on Derrick Morgan's performance. It's really clear in this track.
Wipe the sweat upon a tear. I'll get along on the 7th. I did the same thing all over again. Yes, I did. This is my 7th letter, baby. On this bright Sunday morning, just get off my knees from praying. I said, oh Lord, please send her back home. Can't you hear me talking to her? This is my last letter. 7 letters, 7 days, 7 long lonely days I'll send her. This is my last letter. Yes it is. Yes it is. Oh yes it is. This is my last letter. 7 letters, 7 days, 7 long lonely days I'll stay on.
Okay, let's go back to King Tubby and one of his dub versions of one of Derrick Morgan's collaborations with Horton's Ellis. This is I'm Gone Dub from 1975.
I'm gone. I am gone completely out of my mind.
Interesting fact about Derrick Morgan, in 1960 he became the only artist in Jamaica who ever filled all the places from 1 to 7 on the Jamaican pop charts. That's quite an achievement. It's also incredible that he was still performing at ska festivals as late as 2017, even though he was having great problems with his eyesight. Okay, I'm going to play a couple of tracks now from a compilation album called Augustus Pablo Dubbing on Bond Street. These are tracks that were probably produced and mixed by Augustus Pablo but put out on Duke Reed's Treasure Isle label. This particular track is called Duke Spirits. There's some discussion out there about whether Augustus Pablo is actually playing on this. Some people say he may not have been. But what I find interesting about this track and the next one is the fact that people often think of Duke Reed's golden period as the rocksteady era of the mid-60s. But actually in the 70s he was still out there producing dub of this quality. Great stuff. Okay, I'm going to let it play now. Let's have another track from this compilation album. This is called Treasured Version. Apart from the controversies about what role Augustus Pablo played in these particular tracks, it's also not very clear exactly when they were cut or mixed, although it does seem that Bunny Lee was involved in producing them. Whatever the controversies, these are great dub tracks. Okay, nice. Let's go back to Derrick Morgan now. This is a collaboration with Patsy. It's called Don't You Worry, produced by Leslie Kong in 1966 and put out on the Islands Records label. Lovely ska, rocksteady track there. Right, let's go over to Errol Thompson and Joe Gibbs. This is from their classic African Dub, Chapter 2 from 1978. It's called Peeping Tom. I doubt anybody these days would call a track Peeping Tom, but it is a classic Errol Thompson, Joe Gibbs production. Let's go over to another of the dub studios of that period. This is Aquarius Studios. This is Shortman Dub, produced by Herman Chinloy.
The whole world is facing a problem of man shortage. It's in America, it's in England, it's in Canada, it's in China. Germany, it's in Jamaica, it's even Africa. Do it, job, man.
Yeah, boy, I drew my shot, yes. Why the girl, them a going like shot?
If a boy only knew what a girl must go through, and when a girl,
why the girl them a burn like show? So many woman, the one little man, yes.
Not sure who's toasting on this, but it's great stuff. Let's go back a decade earlier to a classic from Derrick Morgan now. This is Moon Hop, produced by Bunny Lee. This track became a classic amongst the skinhead reggae fans of the late 60s in the UK, which is not surprising given how much Bunny Lee did to spread reggae to the UK. A year after it was released, a band called Simmerip covered it, put out their own version called Skinhead Moonstomp, which did particularly well amongst the skinhead reggae fans. What a great track. It's nice to have the original here.
Shake your hip. That's it. Wow.
a great track. Alright, this last session of the Coronapocalypse Sessions wouldn't be complete if we didn't have some Lee Scratch Perry in it. So next up is a track recorded at the Black Ark Studio, but only put out in 1989 on his Excalibur album. This is Jungle Fever. Lovely track from the scratch there. Alright, before we get to our last track, let's have one by Pablo Moses. This is from 1980. It's called Dubbing is a Must, produced by Jeffrey Chung.
Dubbing is a must. It's a must. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. Dubbing is a must. It's a must. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. To enjoy reggae music. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. To enjoy reggae music. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. Skibby papa baby, don't be no fool. Dance it cool, don't be no fool. Yeah, dancing for a part, it is only for the start. Yeah, man, hold your daughter close. Then she loves you the most. Ooh, yeah. Dubbing is so very neat. It's really a special treat. Dubbing is a must. It's a must. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. Dubbing is a must. It's a must. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. To enjoy reggae music. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. To enjoy reggae music. Dubbing is a must. Yeah. Skibby bum bum baby. woman. Tightly hold your man. Real, sincere. Oh yeah. Let him know that you care. Dubbing is a must. It's a must. Dubbing is a must. Yeah.
Perhaps less well recognised or known than other vocalists in the roots reggae genre, Pablo Moses' stuff is very well received. His first album, Revolutionary Dream in '75, was very well received, and this track comes from his second album, a song which was also met with great acclaim and recognition.
Reggae music. Dubbing is a must. Dubbing is a must. Dubbing is a must. Dub, 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 dub.
Okay, we're coming to the end of the chapter and of the Coronapocalypse Sessions. So let's hand over to Derrick Morgan. This is a track from 1968, Don't You Be a Fool, produced by Leslie Kong.
Every night I've been praying for you, my darling. Underneath the stars above, if you could be my turtle dove. So don't, darling, don't you be a fool. Don't, darling, don't you be a fool. Although I might have a mocking face, that's no disgrace to the human race. Take heed and be my girl, 'cause I am the only one for you in this wide world. And don't, darling, don't you be a fool. Don't, darling, don't you be any fool.
Okay folks, this brings us to the end of the Coronapocalypse Sessions. I hope you've enjoyed listening as much as I have putting these sessions together. Many thanks to all of you and to my supporters, and particularly to the guys at Chindanga Mixtape Radio who've been great support on this side. I'll be back in the new year in 2021 with a new series. In the meantime, you can also listen to the Coronapocalypse Sessions now on Mixcloud, the audio versions. Enjoy. One people, one world, one life. Stay safe, everybody. This is Professor Juicy signing out.
And be my girl, 'cause I am the only one for you in this wide world. So don't, darling, don't you be any fool. Don't, darling, don't you be any fool. Don't, darling, don't you be any fool. Mama, darling, don't, darling, don't you be.
Do you read me? Loud and clear.